Yeah. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. We live. Live on Facebook Live. Live on YouTube as well. Let me see you join the YouTube channel. Let me see you join the YouTube channel in right now. Welcome, 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 welcome. Shout out to the Insta people as well. Welcome, 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 welcome everybody to the biggest SA hip hop podcast on the planet. They say you need to set high standards, right? This is my first show and I'm already saying that, but that's where I'm going to take this. That's where I want to take this. That's where I'm positioning myself. My name is One Shaman. For those of you who don't know me yet, One Shaman, I'm an artist, content creator, podcaster. I've been doing this for a while, man. I've been doing this for a while. But today we're gonna kind of focus in on hip hop, on SA hip hop. So Wednesdays, 8 o'clock is about SA hip hop. So before we even get the show started, I need every single person to do me a huge favor. I need you to subscribe to the One Shaman Show on YouTube. I need you to like on Facebook, One Shaman. I need you to follow me on all the socials, Twitter at One Shaman, Instagram, One Shaman. I need you to just blow this whole spot up because on Wednesdays, what we're doing is SA hip hop. So if you about SA hip hop, put a 1 in the chat. I know the audience is not all the way live, not all the way high as we need it to be, but I'm gonna need you to put a 1 in the chat if you're here for SA hip hop. If you're on Instagram, do the same thing. Let's show some love. Let's show some love. So let me get some housekeeping rules out the way. So housekeeping, you have to you really have to like the show. You need to like it on YouTube, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. I need you to like the show. I need you to like, I need you to comment, I need you to engage, I need you to send as much love to our guest, as much love to the podcast. That's house rule number 1. House rule number 2, I'm gonna need some questions, man. When we talk to this guest, when we start engaging, I'm gonna need you to send questions, whether you're on, again, Facebook, whether you're on Insta, whether you're on YouTube. Make sure you comment, make sure you leave a question for the homie we're about to introduce. But without further ado, because time is of the essence, we are early, we are on time rather. I'm gonna introduce today's guest. One of my biggest homies. First of all, let me get that out the way. And I would say a mentor, I would say one of the hardest working human beings in hip hop SA. I would say one of the most talented individuals I've ever worked with, one of the most talented individuals that I've known. I mean, you've probably seen him on Channel O, you've probably seen him on The Hustle. You've probably seen him on Vuzu, man. You've probably seen him on YouTube. He's doing his thing. This man drops 2 projects a year minimum. Probably seen him on Slick on Life, Verse of the Month. I mean, he runs that whole thing. I'd like to introduce one of the solidest brothers, man. If that is a word, that's a solid homie. I'd like to introduce ShabZi Madallion to the Empty the Clip show. This is the first guest. Show some love.
What is popping, brother? Hey,
Yo,
man.
yo, yo, yo. All those gunshots, consider them applause. So all the gunshots, consider them applause. We're gonna get it streamlined. We still filling it out, but we're gonna get it all the way good, man. First of all, brother, how are you doing?
I'm good, brother. Hey, thanks for the intro, dog. We don't get these flowers in real life, bruh.
I think it's a thing, yeah, man. I think because of the competitive sport, and we'll get into the whole SA hip hop journey, but I think because
Yeah.
of the competitive sport and the competitive nature of what we do in this rap thing, a lot of
Mm,
people aren't necessarily open to giving people flowers, right?
mm,
But I consider
mm,
it like I look at it like this, man. If people are bumping your music, if people are talking about, yo, man, that's that verse is hot. If people are talking
mm,
about your songs, if people are,
mm,
are putting you in debates with the people that exist in this game, I think that's your flowers. I don't
mm.
think people are gonna come at you and say, yo, man, that album changed my life. You know what I mean? And I mean your peers. I think
Yes.
your fans, your audience, definitely you'll get that. But I think amongst your peers, man, you might not get that. But I think again, this is what this platform is about, man. Giving people their flowers and just actually getting the stories in, man. I'm trying to get these stories in terms of SA
Mm,
hip hop, in terms of people's journeys. We hear the
mm,
music, we see these people on TV, we see them on socials, but we don't
mm,
get the stories. We don't get the background data, the information as to
mm.
why these people are where they are and what drives them. But I'm gonna give you the floor, homie. But before we get into that, the first thing we're gonna do is gonna play some trivia. We're gonna break the
Okay.
ice before we start getting into the Q's and the A's. We're gonna do some trivia. We call this SA hip hop trivia. Yeah. So how good is your SA hip hop knowledge, brother?
Oh man, I think it's so, man.
So so.
I think it's
Are you,
so
are
so.
you being
Listen,
modest, or is it a matter of you just trying to like under promise and over deliver? Is it something like that?
I'm setting a precedent, bruh, so that if I fail, then people know that I told them that. Listen, this is not what it might be.
This is
You
not
know.
this is not your game. I. No sweat, no sweat. This is called SA hip hop trivia, right? So I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. We're gonna try maybe do 3, 4 essay hip hop questions. And you're gonna kind of like, yeah, basically answer them. Some of them are easy. Some of them people might consider difficult. If you get it right, we're gonna give you one of these.
Okay.
If you get it wrong, we're gonna give you one of these.
Wow, a Windows era.
That's the old school L, bro. One of them old school L's. So yeah, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
You ready? All right, cool. All right, first question for
Mm,
Mr. ShabZi Madallion, right?
mm.
Um, Which of these artists is not a member of the legendary group Squatter Camp? So, which of these artists is not a member of the legendary group Squatter Camp? Cool. Is it A, Sugar Smacks, B, Infa, C, Golden Shovel, or D, Boza? So let me repeat the question again. Which of these is not a member of Squatter Camp? Sugar Smacks A, B, Infa, C, Golden Shovel, D, Boza.
Woo, woo. I'm gonna have to go with Golden Shovel.
You're gonna go with C.
Yeah, is that
Final
C?
answer. That's C. Final answer.
That's my final answer, bruh.
Ah, where you kicked it off now, bruh. Kicked it
Yeah,
off now with a
yeah,
W. With a W.
yeah.
Okay, we move along. Question number 2. The manuscript. released in 2006, is the sophomore album of which hip hop artist? The manuscript, released in 2006, is the sophomore album of which hip hop artist? Is it A, Kulichana, B, Pretty Ugly, C, Proverb, or D, Mr. Selvin?
Ah,
You need me to
man.
repeat that one?
Nah, man. That's proverb. Come on, man.
You gonna get one of those, bruh? Yeah, classic, 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 classic. I think it's one of the rare cases for me where I feel like I like the second album better. You know, although the Book of Proverb for me was a
That's
monster, but
also a
like I
classic.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, I actually prefer the manuscript. Is yeah, it's phenomenal. All right, cool.
Mhm.
Let's get to the third question, right? I think this one you gotta be really, really in tune, in tune, in tune. But we're gonna see, we're gonna see.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Rapper AB Crazy was a part of which production team? The rapper AB Crazy was a part of which production team? Is it A, Ivy League, B, Octave Couple, C, Wolfpack, or D, Ganja Beats? Rapper AB Crazy,
Uh
Rans
huh.
and Nairas, you know the homie, right?
Uh huh.
Was a part of which production team? Is it A, the Ivy League? Is it B, Octave Couple? Is it C, Wolfpack? Or is it D, Ganja Beats?
Yeah. This one is a hard one, man.
Is this one hard?
Okay, it's definitely not Ganja Beats.
Okay.
It's definitely not Ivy League.
Okay. So
What are the two options?
it's between Octave Couple and Wolfpack.
Octave Couple.
Are you sure? Final answer.
It's my final answer, bruh.
You get one of those, brother. He was a part of Octave Couple early, 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 early.
Fam,
Last
that was the
question, man.
process of elimination.
I mean, you got it right. And process of elimination, definitely did not Ivy League. I mean, you took that out. Ganja Beats, definitely.
No. Wolfpack is who's the
A1
homie?
Wolf and them and the
A1
team.
Wolf and them. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
TBN homies. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, last one, last one. Which of these artists do not feature on Pro Kids 2005 debut album Heads and Tails? Which of these artists do not feature on Pro Kids 2005 debut album Heads and Tails? Is it A, Notende, B, Mugs, C, Lyra, or D, Relo? Which of these artists do not feature on Pro Kids 2005 debut album Heads and Tails? Is it A, Notende, B, Mugs, C, Lyra, or D, Relo?
Jesus, man.
I mean, this is
So,
for a perfect score, bro.
so this was so
You get you get this
this
right, this is a
album
perfect score.
so this album definitely had a singer on it, Mus.
I mean, only one of these is not featured on this album. So, hey, bro, you trying to get me to answer this question for you? What's going on, bro? What's happening? Yo,
um,
answer the
Lira,
question, brother.
Lira, bruh, Lira.
You going C, Lyra.
Yeah,
You get one of those, man. You get one of those. That's a perfect score, man. Perfect score. So you're the one to beat. The next guest, next week's guest has to beat 4 out of 4. That's gonna be hard, man.
bro. I'm
That's gonna
always
be
the one
hard.
to beat, bro.
Yeah. So you were being modest. Your hip hop trivia is all the way up there, bro.
I told you, you gotta set the precedent. Like,
Most
minimize the
definitely, man.
expectations.
Most definitely, brother. Speaking of setting the precedent, man, let's take it all the way back. Let's take it all the way back to,
Mm,
inspiration, foundations. What was kind of the first hint at you thinking that this is something you want to do, like music in general? Like what's the first memory you recall where you were like, damn man, I'd really want to do this, you know?
Mm. Um, I think for me, bro, it wasn't a career thing, you know. So if we strictly keep it at the music, I tell the famous story of how my mother introduced me to Tupac. I mean, prior to that, I was writing rhymes. You know, I think back then I wasn't calling it rhymes. I called it introspective poetry or just poetry. I don't think I was that far enhanced to call it introspective poetry. You know, just a book filled with rhymes that contain my thoughts. You know, what I was going through at that young age. You know, I'm the eldest sibling back home, so a lot of my outlet was the writing. So when my mother played Tupac Changes, I was like, wow, you know, here's someone who is rapping about real life, you know, what's happening out there and his perspective on what's happening. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. And I want to figure out how to do it, you know. And it, again, not the career, like, how do I write something, rap it on top of beats, just the same way that Tupac is doing it, you know. So first memory, maybe when we were going to school, moms used to play like Brenda Fassie, Zola. You know, she had her own like unique taste of music. ABBA, you know, those were one of the artists on the playlist. So she played Tupac Changes. Clunk, clunk, clunk,
Mm.
da-da-dum, dum, goo. And when that beat came in, bro, yo, I was like, yo, what is this? I see no changes. Wake up
And
in the
you're like,
morning.
yeah, nah,
I was like,
I
yeah,
have
this,
to do this.
yeah, this is what I want to do. You know, that's yeah, that's really where it started for me, bro.
So you were more kind of enticed by the technical element, right? So in terms of like, how do I technically put this together? How do I make a song or a rap, and and
Yes,
and kind of record it, and capture the feeling, the emotion, the words. It
yes.
wasn't necessarily a thing of, man, I saw or heard Tupac and I was like, I want to be that. It was more,
Nah,
I just want to do
nah.
that.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Like, how do I, bro? When I recorded my first song, yo, my man, I felt like I was on top of the world, bro. Like, you know that feeling that artists have now when they have a platinum record?
Yeah,
Yo, it
achievement.
felt like that, bro. Like, you know, so it had nothing to do with the career and what it is today. It was literally, how do I make myself sound like this?
That's super dope. That's super dope. So
Yeah.
in between you trying to figure it out, are you aware of what you want to say, or is it just a matter of you're just trying to get it done? Is there any kind of thought or conscious kind of construction of this first song, or this first piece of poetry that you're about to record? Is it something that you had for long, or is it something you thought up on the spot as soon as you understood the mechanics of it all?
Um, I think, bro, you know, in hindsight, I always knew what I wanted to say, you know, because of the introspective poetry. But that musicality aspect, I was more drawn in by the production, if I'm to be honest, you know, and I think my journey as far as rap is concerned, I had to be the producer to make a record. I didn't have producers around me, you know? So if I'm thinking about, oh, I need to make a song, okay, who's going to make the beat? Who's gonna mix it? Who's gonna master it? Who's gonna bounce it? Who's gonna, you know, get it to the point where it's a complete version? So I abandoned the writer. Everything I wrote was still real, but the skill of writing wasn't a priority after I heard Tupac's record, you know. I was like, okay, cool. I want to know how to make it sound like this. So the sound, the beats, everything that's got to do with the recording, the mixing, that's what drew me closer to trying to figure out how do I make myself sound like that.
Okay, so now you, so if we follow the timeline, there's a point where now you know the kind of mechanics, right? You know, okay, I need to find a beat. Once I find the beat, I need to hear the beat and layer whatever material I have to the beat. So at some point you decide that this is something you can do, this is something you're fairly comfortable with doing. What would you say the first song you did was? What rather, let me ask it like this: the first song you did that made you believe that, you know what, I think I'm gonna do this for a while. I think I'm interested in doing this. I'm engaged in this. What song would that be from you?
Yo, no one knows it, bro. It's literally that first song that I'm telling you about. Like, um, um, the name of the song, if I'm to tell you the name of the song is, "My Name Is." So in the song, I'm rapping about who I am. Like I'm breaking out as my artist name is ShabZi. You know, at the time.
That's
Mm,
sorry to cut you off, but that's quite interesting, because if you kind of follow you know hip hop in the early 90s, late early 90s, mid 2000s, every art, well, not every artist, but most of the artists had like their name as kind of
yes.
like the song, or something relating to what's my name. I think of Snoop Dogg, like what's my name.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think of DMX, what's my name. And
Yes.
even in the kind of, you go later on into hip hop, late 2000, you think of J. Cole, who that,
Mm,
right? Like trying to get
mm,
your
mm,
name
mm,
across, right?
mm,
So
mm.
that's quite interesting that that's also your first kind of record that made you like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. So was that conscious? Is it something you kind of understood about hip hop, where you followed it to a point where you know that, okay, if I'm gonna do a first single, or my first recording, it has
Mm,
to kind of do with what my name is, or what my pseudonym is, or stage name is?
mm.
Were you thinking in that kind of way, or was it just coincidence?
Bro, it was coincidence, honestly, man. Like it's the same way when we started the show about the trivia. Of course, I said, I don't want to set myself up for failure. But if I'm to be honest with you, bro, my whole journey, I wasn't entirely focused on hip hop the way a hip hop head was. Everything that I fell in love with in hip hop resonated with me, spoke to my soul, spoke to me. So my name is just something that came to me. It wasn't oh, I knew Snoop Dogg did this, or DMX, or I mean Cole at the time wasn't out when I started writing. But yeah, like for me it was just a coincidence. Like that was the first thing that was fitting, and that euphoria feeling of making a song is, I was like, yo, I'm doing this for life because I want this feeling.
Dope, dope, dope. So now, kind of like the artistry point, I'm assuming at this point you're well aware of what you need to do.
Mm,
But there's a matter of like kind of getting the music out there. You want an audience. I mean, you're not doing this just for yourself at this particular point. Once you've kind of not necessarily mastered it, but now you're in a rhythm. You probably have about 20 songs after that
mm,
first song. So
mm.
what would you say like your first introduction to the music business is? And by music business, not necessarily being in the environment, but understanding that there's an element outside of just creating the music. What would you say that first introduction is?
My I don't want to call it my first EP, but I guess it's the first EP, the Madline EP. It's the one where I printed CDs for it, and went out there to hunt for those customers to cop a CD. That's the business part of it. You trying to sell a product. Remember, for me, my fulfillment ended with I just completed a song. That was it for me. And so Mad Lion EP was the first part of the journey where I tried to make it a business. Like, people should buy this product that I put together in this form, in a CD tangible format. Maybe that's like what, 2013, 13. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually remember that cover. I think it had I think it had your earlier logo with the Mad Lions beat split in two, the font, if I'm not mistaken. It was
Yes.
black and white.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, it wasn't the logo at the time. It
It wasn't the
was
logo at the
just,
time, yeah.
yeah, it
It was
was
just
just
an
the
image.
fact that, yeah, the image of the lion. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
dope, dope. So, what would you say your reception was in terms of like how you perceived it, right? Now you've got an EP, you're
Mm,
trying to promote, you're doing the legwork alone. Um,
mm.
what how are you then kind of coming to terms with the fact that there's other work that I need to do in order to get this project out? Like, what are your thoughts around the music industry at that particular time, 2012, 2013?
Yo, I think back then, bro, when I dropped the EP, I wasn't in the music industry. I used to attend this church, and the church, HP, was a good supportive system. So a lot of the rhymes in that project were centered around that religion, and so cool. I still spoke about my life, but it was backed with my experience being from that church and around people in that church. And those people were the ones showing me support for the EP. I mean, I didn't sell all the CDs. I was so ambitious. I like printed 300 CDs and told myself like 300 people are going to buy, and literally half the people bought. Like, we broke even, and I
Yeah, like
still
a
had the
reality check
CDs.
of some
Yeah,
sort.
yeah, I mean, when you're learning and you're freestyling and you're doing this by yourself, you're bound to have a lot of reality checks along the way, But I think the beauty about the process is, okay, cool, we learned. Now we know how to maneuver for the next project.
Okay. And at the point of you kind of just breaking even and getting those results, is a part of you kind of thinking, I don't know if this is something I want to do. Well, with regards to the side of pushing and moving the music, right? You've just created the product, and like you said, there's a euphoric
Mm,
kind of feeling that you don't want to lose after creating, and then
mm,
that kind of has to be put on hold when you start, putting your distributor cap on, or your
mm.
marketing cap on. At that point, are you having any doubts in terms of that other side or the other aspect of music?
Of course, bro. But the doubt isn't necessarily because I can't do it. It's expensive, to print your own CDs. It has to come out of your own pocket, and going to those customers, making those drop offs, because people aren't coming to me. I'm going to them. They are messaging me that they want the CD, but I have to travel all the way to them to drop off those CDs. So who's paying the cost of the distances that I'm covering, I was paying for all of that. Cool, we broke even in terms of selling the CDs. Like, we sold half of the 300, but the amount that we made didn't cover the work that I put in, you know? So, nah, bro, like, of course I'm changing the way I'm gonna do things because now it's too expensive to do it. But it did not it wasn't a barrier for me to continue. Like, I'm still going to do this. I'm just going to figure out another way, you know?
Dope. So, okay, fast forward, a couple years, a whole transformation in terms of how you're about to go about doing things, you decide to join a reality show, one of the first hip hop reality shows, The Hustle.
Sure.
Um, how many projects are you in at that particular time before you decided to to do the audition video? Like at what point are
Yeah.
you in your career?
Um, I had the deviation, seasons change, Madline, observer. Five projects. Five
Okay.
projects in. Yeah.
So at that point, what kind of makes you decide to, you know what, I'm gonna do this? I see um there's some requests from certain artists who are saying this is gonna be something that's gonna be dope for SA hip hop artists. I'm gonna audition. Like what kind of made you decide on doing that?
Ah, bro. If I'm to be honest with you, I didn't really care, man. I just had people close to me who were like, "Yo, this is what's happening. This is how to enter." Um, because remember, the Hustle season one, they didn't mention what the stakes were. They didn't mention what the prizes were. So like you're just shooting a dot in the dark. You don't know what this is for. And I did not take out a phone and say, "Oh, I'm auditioning." I literally went into my vault of videos, like, "Oh, this is the most recent freestyle I did." Clipped it. Back then, Instagram was 15 seconds for a video. Clipped a nice part where I had a good flow, had the hashtags in, tagged the right people, and put it up. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it was an hour later, they DM'd me and said, "Hey, please send us your details, ID, and all of that." I mailed them everything that they needed from me, and maybe they hit me back after a month, to confirm, to be like, "Hey, this is what we're doing." And even on the call, I was still a little bit disinterested, because we know what reality TV was back then, bro. Like what these guys were doing on TV. So I was asking the person, they're like, "Yo, we chose you, da da da. Now we're gonna have to do like background checks and criminal records, psychiatric tests and all of that." So I was like, "Wait, wait, wait, before we get there, is this reality TV or are we rapping?" you know?
Yeah,
And so the lady that was on the phone with me affirmed that, "Yo, we rapping. You're really going to rap." I was like, "Okay,
yeah,
cool."
we're looking for talent.
Yeah, so I was like, "Okay, no problem. This is my availability. I'm down, and the rest is history."
The rest is indeed history, man. So yeah, just kind of summarize that experience, man. I mean, that's at that point that I don't think there was another kind of show like that, a talent show specifically for hip hop artists. I think
Mm.
that might have been the first. I could be wrong, but I don't
No.
remember kind of seeing anything like that. That was kind of like new
Mm,
to TV in general, even as a reality show. So kind of just run us through that whole experience, man. Like just give us a summary of you getting there, you kind of enduring, and the people you meet, and
mm,
coming all the way out at the end. How
mm.
was that like for you?
Bro, it's definitely the first of its kind in South Africa. I mean, I don't want to downplay any other productions that might have attempted to do something or did do something but wasn't successful commercially, but it was the first of its kind, if I'm to be honest. It was quite an experience, bro. I mean, from doing those psychiatric tests, being in rooms with the production team, going through contracts, feeling like you're signing your life away, you know, um, getting into the house and realizing they chose 20 of us out of 4,000 people, and out, bro. And you know me, like, I'm coming in this thing authentic, and I'm still learning the music business of it all. I'm an independent artist still learning this thing on the go. When the cameras went on, trust me, bro, it's not the same as spitting a cipher for your friends, bro. Once the
A
cameras
whole
are on
different energy, man. It's
and
all
the
it's a
lights
it's
are
a
on,
whole performance.
yo, man, like you forget bars, bro. You like, yo, now those skills of freestyling come in handy because now you're either gonna make a fool of yourself or you're going to rap something, that makes some sort of sense. Met all the gents. I was quickly impressed with Jimmy, the way he rapped, that whole New York flow, and the way he pieced the words together and what he was saying in the raps drew me closer to him as a person. I think the first challenge on the show, they made us run a block in a nice fancy neighborhood. And
They
I,
made you do the Diddy cheesecake run.
yeah, I think Jimmy thinks I had his back, and I really did. But half of my reason of why I ran with him is that, yo, man, I'm not here to this no track style competition, man. I'm not Usain Bolt, man. And they were
Yeah.
more lenient on Jimmy running. So if I'm running with him, you're just really jog walking.
So how much
Um,
of that do you think was hazing, and how much was it kind of built into the desired outcomes with regards to the show? Was it just like awesome? No, let's just get these boys in shape. Let's just haze them, like Diddy did with the cheesecake. Or how much was it like? Okay, actually, we want to see character. We want to see perseverance. We want to see how many of these dudes really want this. Um,
mm.
what did you think that was?
Bro, in hindsight, I think everything was planned out for them. I mean, of course, the only thing you can't plan is our reaction, the
Mm,
contestants' reaction. You can't plan that. But everything in the show was planned. So it was just a matter of who was more prepared for the task, you know? Like I'm saying to you, when the cameras went on, it's a different ball game. In hindsight, I realized, cool, we came here to rap, but it wasn't really about rap. It was about who was the holistic artist, the one that we could turn into the business of
yeah,
this entertainment journey. And every task there was a lesson in there. Of course, I'm making fun of jogging around the neighborhood, but the lesson behind that was there are people up at that time of the morning and starting their day. Meanwhile, we are sleeping. you
yeah,
know, I think the idea of being a holistic artist is realizing that there's more to it than just showing up for studio.
yeah.
Like your day really needs to start early, and if you're really a hard worker, it'll end late.
Dope. So you go through that whole it's grueling. I mean, I watched it. It looks grueling. Like you said,
Mm,
once those lights come on, man, and those cameras come on, it's a whole different ball game. So you
mm,
you you go through that whole process, and eventually you make it to the end. You make it to the top two. So
mm.
what's going through your mind at that point where you know you're revealed as the top two? Like now you're top two. You're that much closer to winning. um
Mm.
and I guess I'd ask, is winning even a thing you're thinking about? Is do you want to win the competition, or is your mind elsewhere in terms of um what you can make out of this?
Before it was top five, it was the latter. what I can make out of this opportunity, because every week when an artist that I revered and had respect for as far as the craft is concerned was getting knocked out, I felt like, my time is coming as well. And that's not to say the guys who made it to top five, to top four, top three, and it being me and who was the winner aren't great artists. Everyone is an artist and they deserved to be there. But I had my favorites, and I guess like-minded artists kind of clicked with like-minded artists. So when they were getting knocked out, I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna make the most of this and do my best as far as I can. But when I got announced that I was top two, hey, bro, at that point, what do I have to lose? Just go hard. Like, throw the whole kitchen sink. Do your best. What do I have to lose? Is being top two. That's that's really the next prize if I'm not winning. So I did go for the win for me. In that last round with Big Star.
So last round, you miss out. You miss out on the kind of prize, the competition. You're a runner up.
Mm,
So I think on that it was a live show, if I'm not mistaken, right? The last
yeah,
it was it's a live show, so they announced the winner, Big Star, dope artist. So where are you now, right? Are you kind of like, damn man, I got this close, or are you kind of looking at it as you know I got here. What else can I do? I've challenged myself. I've got to this point. What else can I do with this opportunity?
yo, bro. I think it's not as simple as saying it's this or that. It was everything, you know. I felt all the emotions. I mean, if you watch the clip, I cried. Like
Yeah.
tears just fell down my eyes. And I think everything played a role at that point, bro. It wasn't about the hustle, the competition, making it that far on the competition. It was about my journey. Think about it. Before the hustle, I had been writing for more than 10 years, bro. For more than 10 years. My journey, I'm speaking for me as an artist. So you must understand the things that I had to go through me personally in that 10-year journey and feeling like that moment is the moment that's going to change my life, and I'm not announced the winner. I'm feeling everything at this point, bro.
Yeah.
Uh, I wasn't thinking about the future. Nah, bro. I'm really,
That you're on that moment.
yeah, bro. I'm thinking about that moment and the journey that I have been walking. Like, wow, man. Like, I met resistance on all fronts. Like the first person who believed in me is my mother. And that's no knock on my family and friends who caught up as the weeks and the months and the years went by, but they had to believe through my actions, through me fighting for it. So I met resistance even at home. So you must understand that moment when I cried. Yo, bro, everything like felt like it came full circle. Like, wow. Like, bruh, if if you if everyone only knew how long I've been walking.
And you continue to walk, right? So post show, I think you drop a whole array of EPs and projects, and I think the time between the show and your debut album, you kind
Mm,
of just there's a whole lot of space and a whole lot of time, right?
mm.
Would you say it was something you were waiting for before you kind of delivered what you would say is your first album? Is there a reason you kind of took a break? Well, not necessarily a break, but is there a reason why there's kind of like so much space between the two events? Because most people would say at that point you are at your highest in terms of notoriety, in terms of media attention, right?
Mm,
Most people kind of just capitalize on that opportunity.
mm.
Um, you at the point that you dropped some music, you dropped some EPs, but the album kind of took a lot longer. What would you say the reason behind that was?
Um, I think the debut album, bro, I felt more prepared. I felt ready. Um, I was always the artist that I was, but now the artist and the business side of things, all the technicalities, everything was in place and ready for the debut album. I mean, that year, 2015, you also know, like, it was a great year for SA hip hop, you know? So, cool. There was some form of notoriety, but there were a lot of big albums that dropped that year, big artists that did big things. So, we were viewed as, oh, these kids from the hustle.
Yeah,
No one, no
a
one
company
necessarily
that
said exactly. No one necessarily said, "Oh, that's ShabZi Madallion. Oh, that's the big star. Oh, that's the Shane. Oh, that's like they grouped
yeah,
us into the show. So you still had to work for your name, work for your brand,
pay your
work for
dues.
that. Yeah, the artist that you claim you are. So of course, like my only thing that I'm going to do after the show is release music. Now that people know who I am, I can't rely on my old music. When I drop an album, by the time it drops, I'm over it. I'm already working on where I am now. That's how focused I am on my evolution as an artist and as a person. So by the time the hustle was done, I was done with old music, bro. I was like, I got so much to say, especially because of that experience. You know, I have so many different perspectives of this journey, and I'm going to release it all in music form. When I released Soul 2017, I thought that that was my debut album, you know, but there
Very,
were a
very,
lot.
very good project. Very solid project. Super
Yeah,
solid. Super, super solid.
yeah, thank you, bro. And that I felt was my debut album, but it was a debut album personally. But when I think about the mechanics around the business of releasing a debut album, I got a lot of things wrong there. A lot of samples on that album that aren't cleared. So I couldn't put that album on all digital streaming platforms. I could only put it on the platforms that were accepting mixtapes, freestyle type records. And also back then, to get your name out there, you had to put your music out for free. There wasn't no you trying to sell it, if you wanted to make a name for yourself. So, and a lot of people in the industry that I played the album for were like, it's too ahead of its time. Lord knows I didn't know what that meant at the time. But
Yeah.
I took all that and put it out anyway. And in hindsight, no, it's not the debut album because I wasn't as prepared as I was when I released Nomvola.
So we get to Nomvola, right? Gotta give it that. Gotta give it that. Gotta give it that. Um, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant project. And I think just from a personal standpoint, because we've had this conversation personally in terms of um what I like from you, right? I
Mm,
think so was incredible. I wouldn't say it was ahead of its time. I think it didn't have an audience at that particular time in music, in hip hop, that was
Mm,
gonna kind of give it all its attention, right?
mm,
Very introspective, very content driven, um, very lyrical.
mm,
But at the time, I think the audience wasn't necessarily looking for that. And what I think you did with Nomvola, which I really liked, is you kind of pulled into your creative, you kind of pulled into your energy,
mm,
your personality, your vitality, and you gave us records that are still lyrical, but yeah, man, your head was nodding, right? You had the head
mm,
nodding, you had Bob. I mean, We on Fire, super dope. Where Your
mm,
Homies at, super dope. Um, those are kind of the records that draw people in, and you
mm,
had records on there that still kind of kept that soul.
mm.
So what was kind of like the thinking process of Nomvola, which you titled uh uh um your mother's namesake. So you get it's titled around your mother, whose name is Nomvul. So
Mm.
what was the thinking around that, and how does the title kind of just intertwine with kind of the music that's on there?
Yeah, I mean, if I touch on the title first, I had reached the place in my career where I was like, okay, cool. I think I'm somewhere now that I respect myself. I've covered some ground. There are some eyes on me. Remember, this is after having done collaborations with KFC, Sports Scene, a lot of other brands that I can't think of now, you know. So I titled it that because, okay, cool, my debut album, the album is not about my mother, but how can I give thanks to my mother on a big stage, before the plateau or the decline? And that's with this album. And I had gotten to a place as an artist where I had figured out all my tools, my voice, the mixing, the production team, the people who were involved in helping me create Nomvola, the contributions, the features, um, everything was just aligned for that album, and it sounds that way because of that. It's not me alone. Of course, I was at the center of the album because it is my vision, but there were people who were involved in the creation of that body of work, and I had found those individuals, the artists, the songwriter, the producer, the guy who was involved in mastering it. I had put together this team of Avengers to make the project what it is today. And I think that is why it sounds the way it does as a full package.
And I think a full package it is, man. I think just the sheer, I mean, production alone, I really like the sound of it. I like the sonics of it. I like the sequencing of that project. But I also
Mm,
like the fact that I think there was I, I don't necessarily think this is what you thought, but I think there is a lack of attention that you had given to the other side of you, the side that's
mm,
fun,
mm,
the side that's vibey, the side that, you know what I mean, like.
mm,
And as much as you were lyrical and kind of introspective and content driven in terms of your music and what and like you said, man, Pac,
mm,
you want to say something. I think there
mm,
was still another part of you that we as an audience hadn't experienced before,
mm,
right? I mean, you had records. I mean, It's My House, right? With
mm,
the Cabello sample, like that was like kind of a way into that. But I think
mm,
on that album, you kind of got a whole um slice of who ShabZi Madallion is.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
fast forward to where we are now, right? Uh, the long game,
yeah.
right? Your sophomore album. This is what you've called your sophomore album, your second album.
Mm.
What processes did you kind of keep, and what did you change when you were making this project?
This project, bro, I think the processes I definitely kept, and which let me say this first. The approach for Numvola, all those tools were always there, but they were not as enhanced as ShabZ was. I mean, if people know, I have different characters in the music. I always had the medallion. I always had Mad Lion. I always had these in me. And if you look, there are songs before Nomvola where I exposed those characters, but they weren't sharpened, you know,
Yeah.
because those characters have like what, a verse, maybe one freestyle. When Shab Z is part of every single release. So Shab Z as an artist is evolving very quickly because I'm constantly working on Shab Z. So saying something will always be important when I put together anything because that's the center of who and what I am. When it comes to Nomvola, those tools, I was able to be proud to put them out there like that because I had mastered the voices. I had figured out a way to do it and it sounding fun, yes, but sonically it sounded great, you know. So moving on to the long game, I kept those characters. I mean, there's one more character that I added into the long game, which is Trap Dally, who I introduced at the end of Numvola, you know? And so I kept that fun aspect. I'm still telling a story, and I guess where I am now is the fact that, you know what? I'm an artist, man, and I'll always be an artist. Whether that's in front of the camera, whether that's commercially, whether after this is all over, I'll still be making music. My brother tells me all the time, like, yo, listen, when this is over, you still gotta send me records. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause they resonate with him on that level, and they resonate with me on that level. So I think I kept the message in there. I kept the different characters in there. But was the difference between Nomvola and the long game is just a more refined and mature Shabzi Medallion.
Yeah, most definitely, man. You can tell from even the I think this is the first single with Jimmy. Is that your first or second single?
Yeah, that's the first
Soul
single.
Cry. So it's so like most people don't go for records like that as kind of like the hook or the first
Yeah,
single or what what brings people. So would you say kind of having that um type of song and having kind of like a reunion with kind of Jimmy Wiz was that important to kind of set the tone for the album?
of course. Yeah, bro. Because if you look at it, and this is advice for any artist out there, like once you figure out your journey, tell your story, man. Like it's no longer about what single should come first, da da da. Like, what's your story? And when you look at my story, if you follow my story, a lot of people were asking me about Jimmy. A lot of people were asking me about Jimmy. Because if you think about it, the last time me and Jimmy came together was Look at the Team. I mean, right
Yep.
after Look at the Team,
Another
he
dope
dropped
project.
he dropped his debut album and we did Getting Mines. But that was the last record that me and Jimmy worked on together. And if you look at the timeline, that's 2019. 2019 to 2022, so before 2019, all the way to 2019, people had gotten used to hearing me and Jimmy every year
Yep. I mean, there's
together
that
on the record.
legendary freestyle that, and I say legendary because it was, I mean, it was buzzing. I think you did it at Massive Metro.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
with
a lot of
Queen
people. I mean,
Latifah.
Black
Yeah,
Coffee was retweeting it, like Stogie T. It was fire. So I
yeah.
think that combination worked, and I think that was before. That's the prequel to Look at the Team, right? That was before Look at the
Yes,
Team. That kind of
yes.
ignited that. So yeah, I think that combination makes sense. And would you say linking up with Jimmy? How did you actually record the record? Was it something that you sent and he sent back, or were you guys kind of did you guys have a chance to kind of get in the room and just chop it up and kind of just
Yeah,
let the track be the resolution?
yeah. I mean, you know, behind the scenes, at the end of the day, beyond artists, we humans first, you know? And so me and Jimmy had our rocky journey, and I think what's great about an individual like Jimmy and I is we can both feel what we feel, let time pass, and have a real conversation about everything in hindsight after having introspected on everything. And for me, I'm a genuine person. I'm all about timing. I don't force anything. And so it came to a time where we did have that conversation. We did get in the room. We had to get in the room several times before speaking about music, you know? And it got to a point where we were comfortable and we got back into some kind of a new groove. I wrote the record. I didn't know Jimmy was gonna be on it until I got to a line where I said his name and I toyed with the idea in my mind. Maybe Jimmy would be dope for this record. But hey, let me not speak too soon. Let me finish the record. That's another thing. I'm that kind of artist. I don't send artists records with just beats. I send you the complete vision with what I need you to add to it, you know. And so I completed the song, sent it over to him. He hit me back when he was ready to record. We got in the room. I recorded it. I was the recording engineer. Took off my artist hat. Uh, Recorded the record, and yeah, and he said some real stuff in there.
Yep. Yeah, very very heartwarming stuff. And I think if you go back to the the the, the joint album that you guys did, Look at the Team. There's records on there that kind of just are well, I'd say a to be continued for
Yeah.
Soul Cry, right? I mean, where he talks about his brother and he talks about
Yep.
the unfortunate circumstances that led to his brother's death.
Yeah.
Um, that's some heartwarming stuff in terms of like just material, right?
Yeah.
Having a story and a narrative, and then actually having a resolution at the
Yeah.
end of you guys coming together and making another gem. I think is super dope. Um, but the long game, right? Let's go back to that. That
Mhm.
what's the premise of the album? I mean, the title in itself kind of insinuates that this is gonna be something you're gonna be continue to pursue. It's what I mean, it's a marathon. Rest
Mhm.
in peace Nipsey Hussle, right?
Mhm.
It's something that's in continuation. is
Mhm.
is is this something you're kind of looking at and you're saying, you know what, I'm gonna be here, and this is what you're gonna have to deal with as
Mhm.
ShabZi Medallion?
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's my journey, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I've paid my dues. I've done what I could to assist people on the way of me paying my dues. I've helped a lot of artists and a lot of people behind the scenes, um, on my way up, you know. And so, like I said, it's a realization that, yo, man, this love for music thing is a me thing, you know. It's not a us thing. No one else is involved in that journey. Like, this is my journey. I might release again maybe 5 years from now, maybe 10 years from now, you know. Um, am I saying, oh, is this a continuation of something else? No, I'm saying I love this for life. That's what I'm saying. And then when you listen to the records, there's something about the long game in all the records where it lets you know that, yo, man, I do this forever. Like the first record is the long game, the actual title track. The second record, they're gonna have to put their hands up. I've been like the man for 20 years. Like, what you think I rap for? You know what I mean? Like, this is what I do, bro. You know, it goes into I'm ready. I'm ready to die, right? People think it's a suicide record, but it's no, no, no. I'm ready to die from chasing this. I'm ready to
You,
live now. You know what I mean?
it's kind of like belonging in a way.
Exactly.
It's kind of like admitting to yourself that you actually belong here.
Exactly, bro. You know, from that it goes to Soul Cry. I love what you said, you know, about it came full circle as far as all the stories are concerned. But you see, that takes a long journey for you to come to that revelation. You don't get that revelation without the long journey, you know? And you know it's me, who's the best, you know, like hip hop has that bravado. You gotta, you know, stand your ground. I mean, I could list all the tracks, but they all say something about the journey. I will always be in music. I just now know that I'm not chasing for this. I am this.
Dope, dope, dope. All right, man. Let's kind of get it a bit light, man. Let's gotta get it a bit light. I think sometimes the stories and kind of the introspection and just kind of playing narrator to your own tale. You kind of unpacking, it gets a little heavy, so we're gonna lighten it up. So on this stage, or at this stage, we do something called six shots, right? So this is gonna
Okay.
be six quick fire questions that we're gonna do in 30 seconds. I think we're gonna do 30 seconds. Yeah.
Okay.
Six quick fire questions. I don't need you to think about it. I don't need you to meditate on it. I'm gonna need you to shoot it quick, 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 quick. It's what we call six
I count
shots.
6 shot.
So, are you ready?
Ready? Let's do this.
You sure? You sound like all right, cool. I'm gonna put the buzzer on, and then you're gonna
Okay.
answer the question. All
Sure.
right, cool. Favorite project to date.
The long game.
Favorite project to date. All right, cool. Hits or album cuts. Hits or album cuts.
Album cuts.
Casper in your vest or AKA. Casper in your vest or AKA. Quick fire
Affection,
questions, bro.
affectionately known as.
If you weren't making music, oh, that run out of time. Run out of time. I think that was on my end. I was reading the question slowly, but we're gonna finish it off. If you weren't making music, what would you be doing in the industry?
What I'm doing now, you know, behind the scenes. I produce several shows on radio and off radio. I have some YouTube shows that I produce in collaboration with certain brands.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so producing is is me. That's what I do, bro. I think I'm a producer at heart. You know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Last question. Platinum selling album or Sama Award? What would you prefer? Have a platinum selling album or win a Sama Award?
Platinum selling album.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So, every time we talk hip hop, right, we
Mm,
get the obvious. top five question, right?
Mm,
Who's in your
mm,
top five? What's your top five this? What's your top five that?
mm,
So I'm gonna put it to you, man, because I'm gonna do the generic top five rappers. Like, who are your top five rappers based on influence, right? So
mm,
strictly based on influence in terms of people that you've kind of looked at and you're like, I'm trying to do this. I want to follow this. I want to take from that. Top five
mm,
rappers for you based on influence. Can be a mix of international,
mm.
local, whatever. Top five rappers for you.
Pac, Buster Rhymes.
That's Pac, bro. You got just for
Gotta
Pac.
drop a bomb for Pac, yo.
Gotta drop a
Um,
bomb for Pac. All right, Pac,
Buster
Buster.
Rhymes, DMX.
Ooh, rest in
Um,
peace, DMX.
rest in peace, DMX. Um, mm, K Dot.
Ooh, Kendrick. Based on influence?
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And you know what it is for Kendrick? I'll say, bro. It's because I get this a lot from people. Oh, Kendrick, whatever. It's the cadence. Like,
Yeah.
it, there's a certain approach he has with the multi-syllabic rhyming while saying something. You know.
I think also that his animation, man. Like how he animates and how he's how he projects. Like I could see that being something you kind of gotten influenced by. And
Mm,
because there's not a
mm,
lot of people that do that well. I think Kendrick does that superbly well. Like,
mm,
even when you're talking about having various characters, like super different characters, like Kung Fu
mm,
Kenny, like things
mm,
like that. I think that's definitely something I'd be like, yeah, no, I can see that.
mm. So
So
okay, now
Buster, Pac, X, Kendrick, and
sheesh. Sheesh. Yo, who's number five?
last one.
Based on influence. Who else did I listen to, man? Growing up. Um, yo, it's tough, man. It's tough. I could give it to anybody at this point. Maybe Talib, Talib Kweli
Mm,
for the message.
mm. Okay,
You
okay.
know?
Talib is a good one.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Talib is a good one. Okay, Buster, Pac, Talib, X. Yeah, Buster, Pac, Talib, X, and what was the last one?
K Dot.
K Dot. Okay, that's your top five MCs. So let's wrap this up, man. This has been dope. This has been beautiful. But I'd like to get to like just your point. Like, what are you listening to now, man? Like, where's your mind at in terms of, or your attention at in terms of SA hip hop? Um, who are kind of like some of the cats where you're like, shit, man, this dude is dope, or this dude is nice, or yeah, man, I can see some potential in this person or that person. And I mean, where, where's your tension at as far as SA hip hop?
Bro, to be honest, man, I'm listening to records I'm making. You know, like I said, once I release a project, I'm already working on other stuff because of how long. Remember, like I dropped Numvola 2020, you know. So when I dropped it, I was working on the long game. Even though I was putting Numvola out there doing the marketing work like I'm doing now for the long game. So I got on the marketing guy hat on when I'm out there for the long game, but in private, I'm literally listening to records that I'm making. Outside of my own records, I try to stay away from hip hop. I'm listening to instrumentals, a lot of R&B records here and there. Um, yeah, bro. Like I think for me to create, I need to be inspired. And inspiration for me is my
Outside
version
of
of,
hip hop.
yeah, it's my version of what evolution looks like. And I'm not getting it from hip hop. I'm not. Um,
No, super
it's,
honest, man. That's
yeah,
very honest.
bro. We come. Let me just say this, bro. We come from an era where you know if someone said, "Yo, this guy is nice, check him out," they meant it. They
Yeah.
meant it. Like they really checked you out and they heard and everything. And I don't want to say, "Oh, this person is got next," maybe because everyone's saying that right now. Meanwhile, did I personally listen to the artist's records to
Yeah.
really come to that conclusion? No, I didn't. And that's no knock on any artist that's really next out there. There's a lot that's not on my radar right now. Everything that's on my radar is adding to my growth as an individual, and my evolution bleeds into music. So if one shaman makes it into my radar as part of my evolution, then I'll say one shaman's record on this is really getting me going.
Dope. Dope, 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 dope. That's ShabZi Madallion, man. Brother, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for blessing the platform. Um, you know, and just telling your story. Like I said previously, man, I think it's important to have um, perspective in terms of
Mm,
like how people go about doing what they do and
mm,
how you kind of have a backstory and a journey. It's not just the music. It's not just the creations and what you create in terms of you know you producing and making records, etc., etc., etc. There's actually a story behind it, and I think that's what I would really love to unravel and kind of get behind. So I really appreciate your time, and just kind of like your energy, man, and being able to be open and just what I mean, just get involved and share your story, man. I really appreciate it.
mm. Thank you, bro. And I'm proud of you, man. I'm glad, you got the podcast thing back going.
Appreciate you, King.
Yeah, behind the scenes, I'm always rooting for you and everything that you're doing. Believe in your mind, your passions, and thank you. Like it's a pleasure to do this for you, brother.
Appreciate it, brother. All the best with the music, all the best with everything else you got going on, man. That's ShabZi Madallion. Appreciate you, King. Bomb for you there. Officially emptied the clip. Officially emptied the clip, brother.
Fire, brother.
Peace, King.
Peace.
Appreciate it. Thank you for all the viewers, everybody that was on the other side. Likes, comments, etc., etc. Really appreciate you for all of that. Really appreciate you. That was Empty the Clip, episode 1. Rocky start, but we getting into it, man. We getting into it. We're gonna get the formula right. We're gonna get every single thing sorted. Um, yeah, we're gonna get on top of it, man. We're gonna get on top of it, man. Still need to know where to view the show. Check out Facebook Live, One Shaman. I'm always on Facebook Live, Wednesdays, 8 o'clock. We roughly do about an hour or so, but Wednesdays, 8 o'clock, we do hip hop, man. And you can send your questions. You can add your questions on Facebook Live. You can add your questions on Instagram. You can add your questions on YouTube, man. You know how to follow me. Everything is under the description, under the video, under the YouTube video, as well as the Facebook Live video. Podcast, you can check that out on Spotify. You can check that out on Apple Music 24 hours after the live. That was officially Empty the Clip, episode 1 with the brother ShabZi Madallion. I thank you, and I thank you, and I thank you. See you on the other side. Tomorrow we do the One Shaman show. It's gonna be a movie. Big movie. Please tune in. I'll be back here on YouTube. I'll be back here on Facebook Live, depending on where you're watching me. If you're on Insta, please check out the links that are on the stream. YouTube, Facebook Live. Come on there. Make sure you share, like, comment, subscribe. It's One Shaman on YouTube. It's One Shaman on Facebook. At One Take One on Instagram. One Shaman on Twitter. Please share, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be having more content. Like I said, Wednesdays is strictly for hip hop, so please check us out on Wednesdays. Tomorrow, we do the One Shaman Show official first episode. So excited. YouTube, Facebook Live. I'm out.